Following the reinstatement of Sanusi Lamido as the Emir of Kano, there has been mixed reactions from the people in the state. Some are in support of the move made by the sitting governor Abba Yusuf, while others are not. Series of protests have erupted in Kano State over the dissolution of the state's 5 emirates and reappointment of Muhammadu Sanusi II as the 16th Emir. The protesters took to the streets of Kano, Gaya, Rano and Karaye Emirates. TVC News senior reporter Ibrahim Isa has details.
It's more than 24 hours since the 16th Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II, returned to the palace in company of Governor Abba Yusuf, his deputy, and the Speaker of the House of Assembly. Tension has continued to rise in the state as supporters of the dethroned Emir, Aminu Bayero, are on the street, standing against the Kano government decision. Aggrieved youths conducted special prayers in favor of Emir Bayero. Shortly after the prayers, they converged on major roads, carrying placards, singing solidarity songs, the alleged injustice over the reinstatement of Emir Sanusi. Bonfires were also set up at some major roads and vehicular movement restricted as youths trooped to the streets.
People of Kano State are not longer with this dethronement of my Martaba Serki, Aminu Ado Bayero. The people of Kano are not happy for that.
At Gaya, Rano and Karaye, there were also protests against the dissolution of the emirates. But the national chairman of Arewa Social Contract Initiative, Sanu Darma, during a press conference in the state, called for peace and urged the 15th Emir to leave the state.
Our advice is strongly on the dethroned Emir, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, to quickly vacate Kano State. Even if he's going to claim his right, he should leave Kano, and then whatever may come later, he should take it in good faith.
The police held in a press conference warned against disruption of peace in the state. Community leaders are also making efforts to de-escalate the tension. Ibrahim Isa, TVC News.
Well, joining us in the studio for more on the development is lawyer, public affairs analyst Jide Ologun. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
And also joining us is political analyst Ahmed Jaji. Good morning. Thank you for joining us as well.
Good morning. Good morning, viewers at all.
Right. There are reports this morning that the Emir of Bichi, Aminu Ado Bayero, has said that he's accepting this move as an act of faith. In an interview, he said it's reported to have granted. But let's look at the issues this has thrown up. There's been accusations here and there of persons saying that this whole matter is being politicized. Recall that the incumbent governor in his campaign has said that he was going to reinstate the Emir, Sanusi Lamido, as it is, and he was walking the talk with his decision backed by the State Assembly when they repealed the 2019 law and instituted his that returned the Emir back to his seat. But talk to us how this matter has been handled by the governor and what your interpretation of what is going on is.
Well, to Allah be the glory. I have a very, very deep knowledge of emirate system because I'm a product of an emirate. I'm from Ilorin Emirate in Kwara State, and we've grown up to understand it and accept the concept as it is. But it's just becoming very, very unsettling now that the whole thing is being politicized. Before, when you say an emir is an emir. It's respected by anybody, no matter your political leaning or whatever. But if a governor could say, if I win, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, pertaining to the emirate ship thing, and he won, and he kept to his promise. You know, it's very, very unfortunate because we don't expect politics to infiltrate into the emirate system. But there it is now. It's a reality. There's nothing we can do about it other than to find solution that will be beneficial to everybody and satisfactory.
Right.
So as far as I'm concerned, it's just unfortunate. Politics shouldn't have been.
He shouldn't have been reinstated, is that what you're saying?
No. When he was removed, it was political reason. That was when he was removed. And I don't think there was any hula baloo about it.
He left.
He left. Now the same government, I'm not saying the same governor, but government machinery is now being used again to remove the man that replaced him. And I think we should let it ride because we are operating a democracy, and it's been shown over time that political authority is higher than that of traditional authority. It's unfortunate, but that's the way.
It shouldn't be so.
It shouldn't be so, but that's the way it's been. I'm an old man now, relatively speaking.
Absolutely.
And that's what we have been experiencing since we were small boys. Any festival, they say, "Anlo barike." That was the practice when the colonial masters were around. And when they left, it was now transferred to the political authority. The emir will leave his palace to go and greet the political official. That's the essence of Anlo barike. Who is at the barricade? Is the governor or political official. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is now. And what we are saying now is that let us keep the peace and see how these things can be resolved amicably.
Right. Before I come to you, Jide, let's quickly go on a break. When we return, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us.
The new Milo 3-in-1 Milky and Creamy is truly milky and contains calcium. So, no need to add milk for that rich, creamy cup, which helps to nourish and energize your kids. Milo 3-in-1 is such a smart choice. Milo, energy to go further.
From Nestle. On my dark marks, I've tried everything. Nivea Lumina 630 works from day one with visible results in just 2 weeks and 71% dark marks reduction in 12. Join the 1 million women already using Lumina 630 from Nivea.
Thank you for staying with us. We're still looking at the issues happening in Kano State, the matters between, talking about the emirates there, Muhammadu Sanusi being reinstated and the reactions that is generating. We still have our guests with us in the studio speaking on this matter. We have Jide Ologun, lawyer and public affairs analyst, as well as Ahmed Jaji, a political analyst, also speaking with us on this. And before we went on the break, we had Ahmed Jaji talking to us about the politicization of this whole matter, talking about how initially he growing up to the matter of traditional rulers and, being subjects of governors, but that wasn't how it used to be. The traditional rulers were held in high esteem. And that is one issue that has also been brought to the fore, how it is that governors can decide to, place a leader and then depose them at the same time as it is. There are those calling for a constitutional review of those powers, because we've seen accusations here and there, counter accusations with regards to this matter, and a lot of persons are beginning to question the powers that governors wield with regards to the imposition of emirs or traditional rulers and their deposition.
Thank you very much. And let me approach it from the scriptural angle. If you read Genesis chapter 41, from verse 39 to 41, Genesis 41, 39 to 41, you read the account of how King Pharaoh gave Joseph the staff of office as the prime minister in Egypt. And if you read Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 4, Ecclesiastes 8:4 says, where the word of the king is, there is authority. So in those days, the kings were powerful. So what happened now that the king takes staff of office from political office holders or military governors, whatever, is what we need to spend time and dig into, because I also know by research that even when we were under the management of the colonialists, the kings wielded strong powers, even some of them acting as ministers, But most recently, we read about how kings were commanded to stand up
and sit
to
down.
honor a governor. And I'm a student of history. If you go back to 1996, we had a similar scenario in the Sokoto region when the president, the military head of state, Abacha, deposed Ibrahim Dasuki in a very dramatic manner. And for being not respecting others from the government, inviting guests, just for reasons. And then those who decided to dig in realized that it could have been more of personal business interest. Because he was also to render accounts as a trustee of, but those are deep stories that people can read about. So we now find ourselves where the traditional institution is now subject to political institution. So now let's come back and understand what is playing out in Kano. If you look at the fact that Sanusi Lamido Sanusi was put into office, I think June 2014, by the then governor, Rabiu Kwankwaso, whose child, politically speaking, is now the governor.
Yes.
And that was less than 4 months after former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan deposed Sanusi as governor of CBN. And people were wondering, how did this happen? So he went in there and became vocal, and Ganduje was not comfortable with that. So what happened? Ganduje prompted the House of Assembly to come up with the Emirate Council Law of 2019. And if you look at Section 4 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended from Section 5, it gives the House of Assembly power to make laws, but for the peace, orderliness, and good government of the state. And by virtue of that law, 4 other emirates were created, now shifting the status quo of the Kano Emirate that has about 1,000 years existence, so to say. And then, Sanusi left office. And now, Kwankwanso's party took over from APC and now has the instrumentality of office. And the House of Assembly, legitimately so, came up with another law repealing the Emirate Council Law of 2019. Because I think Sanusi was deposed March 2020.
Yes.
You see, now saying Sanusi is being reinstated. But why was Sanusi deposed? Because we need to learn deeply about governance. For insubordination.
Yes.
Insubordination. So was it insubordination to Kano Emirate, to Kano State, or to the governor? And Section 15, subsection 5 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended states clearly that the state shall abolish corrupt practice and abuse of office. So we need to look at all this. Even those who exercise the political power, for what reason? Is it to advance the fortunes of the people? Even though this is said to be a way of creating way for peace and prosperity.
Right.
We hope so. So that is where we are right now. So I think historically, now you found 2 emirs in the same emirates,
But the other emir has said that he is stepping aside, that he has accepted this.
In the interim.
Yeah.
And you now see again the involvement of state apparatus in all these matters. So there are several lessons to learn. But like I commented, when Chief Olusegun Obasanjo commanded kings to rise up to respect a governor, I have nothing against that, politically speaking, if that is where we are. The kings must come together and occupy their space of relevance. And I know there had been several advocacies to the fact that they should be given constitutional recognition, because that does not exist as we speak. And how can this be done? I can suggest, as a public relations practitioner, let them have a confab and align with the citizens on instituting the culture of good governance, that we focus on creating commonwealth for common good. And that is when the relevance can begin to come back to limelight. Otherwise, the political office holders will continue to manage that space. But we are monitoring how people are responding. The total population of Kano State is about 15 million. So you now see some interest. And why this is complex is that when Sanusi was deposed, it was just dealing with an emirate.
Yes,
and creating 4 additional emirates.
5.
Now you are scrapping the 4 additional emirates with people who have interest in the emirate, and there's what we call condition in industrial psychology, who have conditioned themselves to being emirate councils.
In fact, the statement coming up with regards to that is that these persons have so far ensured developments across this emirates, and that they did not do anything wrong to have been deposed as it is, and that perhaps there should have been another way to dealing with this matter.
Yes. We can say that as outsiders.
But these are stakeholders of the emirate.
We are viewing it from outside.
Right.
It's very, very easy to come to that kind of conclusion. But we are not talking of interpersonal enmity, struggle between 2 individuals. And that's the problem Nigeria as a nation is now facing. Those who are leading us, they don't think about, the larger society, but what they feel among themselves. If I'm not happy with him, I'll find a way of, demystifying him and whatever he stands for. And that shouldn't be the case. The journey is already outside the bottle. 4 emirates have been created, which has watered down the vast influence of Kano Emirate itself. There's something in Hausa we call Sarauta. You need to be an Hausa man to understand it.
But you could break it down for us.
Yeah, that is, a big man is always a big man, and wherever he goes, he must be respected because of his stature.
Rankadede.
You have now broken down Kano Emirates, the influence
they wield.
They either to wielded. You've now balkanized it into 4. And those who are now benefiting from the exercise, they also will not easily, happily relinquish what they have been enjoying. And now they've introduced another function. Now, what is the essence of government? It's societal development. And in the 4 emirates they find themselves, they are now saying they have
brought
up development. So where are we going from there? But Nigeria, like the Germans will tell you, Miyasa Masan, we are who we are. We must find excuses to justify inanities. Kano Emirate has been there before Uthman Dan Fodio came, and nobody had been complaining about it, but because of political misunderstanding between some individuals, look at the problem they are now creating. When Alhaji Emir of Kano, may his soul rest in perfect peace, when his boys were, disregarding his authority, then NEPU, the party he led during the Second Republic, Kanawas came out en masse and dealt with those people. But this time around, do you see anybody protesting anything?
They did. There were protests.
Those are not protests. When you know Kano, if you know Kano, those are guys praying, holding placard. They don't hold. They break it down, burn down every goddamn thing. You know, these are orchestrated. Yeah. These are orchestrated protests. Not,
really?
I'm telling you, I was in Kano. I lived in Kano as an officer of Century Merchant Bank. You know, the late, the former speaker.
These ones are orchestrated. Look at them on the street. That's it on your screen.
They don't protest like this in Kano. That's what I'm telling you.
Maybe this is a modern.
The modern
day. In the olden days, really, in the days of Zangu Kataf and all those violent things in Kaduna, Kano, it used to be.
Well, perhaps the presence of security that they have also questioned. We saw the presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, saying that the president, accusing the president of being part of those who are causing the crisis in the states, especially with the deployment of security operatives to go and ensure that there is relative peace in the states.
So the president should fold out his arms and be watching. There shouldn't be relative peace. You know, the man are taking a preemptive action to prevent breakdown of law and order. If he hadn't done that, I'm telling you, I was in Kano and I know how an average Kano man doesn't take nonsense. If they don't like an issue, they will come out to let you know, and heaven can fall. But the way things are going now, we are praying that it is handled very, very seriously with wisdom, and Allah will teach them what to do, because those who have been made emirs, they will not easily let go, and no law can stop it. And deployment of federal might, whether directly from the president or from the NSA, he's a lawyer. I don't want to be the man came to Kano with 2 jets. Hiring a jet from anywhere, we know how much it costs, not to talk of 2, with accompanying security personnel. I mean, we should sit down.
I think we can explain that.
Right.
That is the power of influence. The same reinstated emir told us how he was supported to leave when he was deposed. So you find influencers coming in, you find your friends coming in. And I must agree that we are testing some of the advocacies we have in the country. So imagine that we already had a state police who would have won, because what the security agencies told the governor is that we cannot effect your order.
Yes.
Because there is a court ex parte order saying maintain status quo. Yes. Even though that ex parte order was allegedly given by a judge on vacation in America. So there are several issues here.
They said it's virtual judgment.
Exactly. So, and as we speak now, the security apparatus of this country is in the hands of the federal government. So that is why even the governor cannot give order to the commissioner of police. But having said that, Section 14, subsection 2 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended says clearly that the security and the welfare of the citizens shall be the primary purpose of government. So I cannot imagine Kano erupting into violence right now with the crisis we have in the country. And that's why I went as far as telling us the population of Kano is about 15 million. So you don't, and it's a commercial center, it's a volatile center and things. And we are again testing the comparison of national interest, state interest, and personal interest. There are other ways of deploying your personal interest. And again, when you are in office, remember that others are coming after you. I mean, when Ganduje was prompting the enactment of the Emirate Council law in 2019, you would have thought that another governor may come. And that is why I went into history, that the man who actually brought in Sanusi Lamido Sanusi as the Emir of Kano was Rabiu Kwankwaso as the governor. And right now, I doubt if Ganduje thought NNPP was going to snatch Kano from APC. He was representing APC.
Yeah.
So now it's a new season. It's a new government. And the governor said, I made a promise not to bring back Sanusi specifically, but to restore Kano to a single emirate. And if that is done, what happens? Two options. It's either you now leave Bayero as the emir, you tell others to go back to their personal constituencies, or you reinstate, or you. So there are issues. But my appeal, whether to the traditional institutions or government institutions, please look at how we can develop Nigeria and have succession plans that are decent, that are free of rancors, and let prosperity be delivered to the people. So even the traditional institution, as a major stakeholding force within this ecosystem, must rise up and queue up behind good governance in the country. Call for it. I have been saying it. When this issue of insecurity started, I used to say it, if preachers, traditional rulers call the government that this is the Nigeria we want. I mean, look at the paradox. Politicians go to kings and preachers when they want votes.
Frustrate.
After they get to office, preachers and kings go to them. And we need to look at this picture. Yeah. I'm passionate about that.
Right.
I'm passionate about that. So this country must develop. If you check the traditional roles of kings, they are the ones to serve as safety valve. No matter how empowered the governor is, and the governor of Lagos State will need the Oba of Ikate to understand what is going on in Ikate. Mm-hmm. In the Yoruba tradition, you have the Baale system. The Baale is referred to as Oko Ilu, the husband of the town, which means that this husband must know everything going on here. So if there are crises in that community, the Baale cannot claim that he is not aware. And that's why when these Bado boys, they were troubling Ikorodu, my suggestion to the government when I was invited then to review the anti-kidnapping laws of Lagos State then under a former governor body was that, hey, invite these Baales and all of them. You know, if you can appeal to them to support or you threaten them, you just have to do something to ensure that there is peace in their localities. So that is where we are now. So at the macro level, we need a Nigeria that we can boast of good governance. And we have less of personal interest driving the system, because that is what I see
Let
me
still stay with you, Jide, especially with regards to the legal dimension of this whole matter. The impartiality is there. What really are you seeing? How are you interpreting it? Because there was a court order that came after Sanusi was reimposed, as it is.
The court order is an ex parte order. You know, an ex parte order means an order obtained without the opportunity given to the other party to be involved. And the other party can return to court. And this is where judiciary is important. Many times people will abuse judiciary. You see, and once a court order is given, until you vacate it, you obey it. So right now, the state is also being tested in the purview of respect for rule of law. An ex parte order is an interim, it's not a permanent order. You can dislodge it, you see. So, but as we speak now, the House of Assembly in Kano made a law. The bill was passed on the 23rd of May, 2024. The governor assented to it on the 24th of May, 2024. 24.
The same day.
Coded.
The same day.
You see? So that law stands as it is.
Right.
So it's either you now constitute another House of Assembly or you now go to court and the court will now repeal what the House of Assembly legitimately. So, and that is why we need a solid foundation that is based on justice, fairness, and equity. Otherwise, just see the players using it as they like. And what some stakeholders are saying is that if all these forces are available, why don't you use it to prosper the citizens and deliver us from the insecurity in the land? If all this federal might and state might and everything.
And local government.
You know. So that is where we are right now, and we hope that those who will learn will learn.
We learn at the end of the day. Now, let me come back to you. From your understanding of the emirate, how do we really resolve this matter? Because these two persons have a long history. As it is said that the current emir, talking about Sanusi Lamido, is married to the sister of the deposed emir. So there is that aspect also that people are also talking about. How can we address these issues, perhaps using all of these instruments that we have said to address them?
Is it left to the two individuals involved? I can tell you that this issue can be resolved without outside interference. But here we are, the issue has been politicized because as Muslims, there is one particular, like you quoted the Bible, I can tell you that Quran 3, verse 26, told everyone that there's nothing you can do without God, without Allah making it possible for you. He is the one that ensures that you are enthroned. He is the one that ensures that you are there. Nobody will disturb you. He is the one that makes sure that you are no more needed and you are thrown away. So whatever you do as a Muslim, or if you believe in it, you don't quarrel over such things. And I know Lamido and the other man, they can sit down and resolve it. But the way it has been done now, it has been overblown because of the publicity involved and the interest from outside. Really? Kwakwanso is not a emirship somebody. The same thing is Ganduje. They are from outside, commoners. They are not troubling.
What do you think that interest is?
Is it?
What do you
it's
think
political interest.
Right.
NPP, APC, and Article 2 is getting involved now. Leave them alone, let them resolve their problem. But that one is too late now. It cannot be done because of the, look at like a lawyer. When I was told that the judge gave his judgment from America, I said, what kind of this? You don't know that there is virtual treatment. Societal matter is virtual. This is not business issue now.
Well, perhaps we are introducing technology.
And the man said he gave his order at 5 p.m. The virtual instruction came at 11. So who is who? Can the governor have a say in his state or not? And look at the way the governors, I'm sorry to say, I'm saying this publicly now, they are security-wise, they are figureheads. The man in charge of that state, in terms of security, is the zonal commander of the police and the DSS and whatever. He's just a figurehead, the governor. They told him, we are sorry, we cannot enforce your whatever, because order has not come from the above. So who is fooling who? Let us encourage these two individuals to sit down, and those who are really involved. Kano Emirates family members, they are all brothers.
Yes.
Like the Bayero man is from, the mother is from Ilorin, from Ilorin Emirate ruling house. So they are interconnected, they are all Fulanis. Let's leave them alone to resolve their matter. But because of political interest and what our eyes on 2027.
What is this interest trying to achieve? I need you to explain.
No, it's suzerainty. I want to continue to be controlling the affairs of this area. 2024 is 2027. They are all planning towards that.
Really?
That's why the likes of Atiku from Adamawa can have a say in the Kano issue.
Well, he's a Nigerian and is allowed to speak.
He's a Nigerian, but limited territorially when it comes to cultural matters. You know, like Abba of Lagos now, and I'll not stand up. Abba, you can't do it. Who are you? It can only be discussed by Lagosians proper and those who have to do with the traditional institution, not just anybody. But because of politics, I can say, Oba, Elojo Kosa. You know, it's funny. I was in charge of a local government before. I know how I related with the traditional rulers within the, jurisdiction. So nobody should bamboozle us. Let Nigeria have peace. Things are very, very tough now. Let us concentrate on how to make our ends meet on a daily basis and don't introduce extraneous problems. That's the contention of
But as
like
it stands, Jide, is it possible to separate politics from the traditional institution?
You know what I say is that politics is man and man is politics. As long as you are interested in the affairs of a society, you are in politics. And that's why I'm advising here. Let's go a step further to developing this country. They will be resolving some of these issues that we have. You see, they say that the wealth of a king is defined by the wealth of the subject. So are you satisfied with poverty in your community, even when you have isolated affluence? No! That's why King Solomon stood out amongst the kings. His subjects, the man would tell them, bring gold to my palace, anything from silver downwards. Let people enjoy themselves. There was peace in the land, you see. And that is what we are seeing right now. And again, we have said it. The institution of the state is for the empowerment of the people. I mean, I've not read about this in the United Arab Emirates, where the leaders have succeeded in instituting prosperity, and I hope it is sustained. So that is our concern. If not, we just go dancing round and round and round and round and round. And that is the appeal that we have. Politics means you are interested. If there are good roads all over Nigeria, you call it political, it's not my business. I can drive, I can enjoy myself. I can go to the capital of the world, Okakoko in Ondo State, anytime I choose. Because another issue has come up now. And that is why I'm saying we can solve the problems of this country, sir. You saw one emir flying into Kano at 1 a.m. Another one flying in at 4 a.m. People traveling in the night. Then why don't you wake up and solve the problems of this country? You see, so when it comes to their issues, they have a way around it. Mobilizing the security apparatus, the DSS and everything. Secure the land. You are in office, you have relevance because there are citizens. So, and you need to earn that respect of performance in office. And that is when you bring prosperity. So I'm challenging the kings and the governors and all of them. Who are the oil thieves in Nigeria? The resources of this country, they are domiciled in localities. So if you are a king in your locality and they are stealing the gold there, you are culpable. If people are stealing our gas and oil and everything, and so let's focus on what is needful. You see, I've said it, in a society of poverty, crises are inevitable. It's poverty that is causing all this jumping up and down, So we need to look at Nigeria, go back to the reasoning table, that what is the intention of God Almighty for this country? Why should Africa, for instance, let me go to the continental level, hold about 40% of the total resources of the world? I think the world population is about 8 billion. Africa is about 1.5 billion. So why should God give 1.5 billion people 40% of the resources meant for poverty. 8 billion people? Then why should there be poverty in the region of those who hold 40%? So whether you are a king or you are a chief or you are a preacher or you are a governor, and people are beginning to realize now a governor today will leave office one day. It's only God that won't leave office. Right. Man will leave office. So what do you do with that office? You see, so I just pray. And I see that coming, that the crisis will be better managed in Kano of what is happening now. But people will express, so the government needs to be very careful about it. And the federal government cannot shy away.
Well, we've seen the deputy governor apologizing to the National Security Advisor for statements that he made earlier on and saying that they were seemingly deceived, so to speak. So I believe that the reality on the ground is making persons holding positions of authority to take some level of caution.
Well, that calls to question the quality of people we have in government now and how they got to where they are. It's because of the type of politics we play that best hands are not given the chance to even surface. If you don't belong to a local mandarin, you won't have any access to anything. You'll be called a radical. Because otherwise, if I were in his shoes, I would resign. For having made that kind of reckless statement. I don't have any evidence to back up my... I mean, National Security Advisor reports to the president. And you now came out to say National Security Advisor provided this, provided that, without the knowledge of the president. That means the president himself is being implicated in what has been done. You now came back to tell Nigerians again that you are sorry, you were misled. That doesn't show good quality of somebody in the terms of affair. So he's coming back to tell us now that they were misled. If people had reacted based on the statement he issued out and hundreds of people had been slaughtered, would the apology wake them up? So that is why even within the political system itself, those who are making it possible to make sure that quality people who know what it means to be this or that are pushed forward, not because they are bootlickers. That's my understanding of it. I don't know what the lawyer feels about it.
I align totally. I adopt your submission, sir.
Well, as we coast home now because of our time, quickly, Jide, where do we go from here with regards to this matter as it is? We are already seeing semblance of protests here and there, and hopefully there wouldn't be a breakdown of law and order because there's a presence of security already there now. How do we resolve this? There are those who are saying that the laws should be amended in such a way that governors can institute the traditional rulers on their seats but cannot depose them. Do you think that is the way forward?
It will be a tight one. I have established the fact that what Kano State did is legitimate.
Right.
Constitutionally speaking, Section 4 of our Constitution, to make laws. You see, so what is expected is for you to comply. But if people begin to disobey laws, it's a different issue. That's a matter of credibility. So that means they're even doubting your intentions. So we need a governance system that delivers righteousness, that develops the society. If people are well developed, even in the midst of that development, you will not be eager to allow your personal interest override public interest.
Right.
And that is what we are asking for. A wise man once said that you earn a living from what you gain, for what you work for. But you make a life through what you give.
All right.
You see, now we are seeing timid people protesting, and will those who are developed have time?
For that?
We have countries where even on election days you don't know there are elections. They've developed to that level.
We'll have to leave the conversation here now because of our time. But I must thank you, gentlemen. Jide Olugun, lawyer, public affairs analyst, for your time, as well as Ahmed Jaji, political analyst. Malam Ahmed Jaji, political analyst, for your time as well. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Well, we'll have to draw the curtains on the program here now. Let's tell you that the views and reactions of all our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC